Welcome to Checking In with Tracy and Ahil. 4 years ago, Ahil and I ditched our corporate careers in accounting and finance to go all in on short-term rentals. Since then, we've hosted over 10,000 reservations and we now manage over 60 Airbnbs across Canada. That's mostly in Ontario and all the way to the East Coast. On this channel, we share all the behind the scenes of hosting, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you're into Airbnb tips, real-life hosting stories, and how to grow your own short-term rental business, you're on the right channel. Let's get into it.
Good morning, everyone. We are on our way to Mississauga today, onboarding a new property. We signed it last night and the owners are going away really quickly on vacation, so we're just rushing out last minute to
It's always like that. The owners, we've been chatting with these owners for almost a month and a half now, and then right before they're going away on vacation, they're like, hey guys, let's finalize this quickly. We're going away within a few days. Can you guys please come and see the place? And yeah, it's always like this.
So yeah, on our way, not even 9 a.m. yet, and yeah, we'll hopefully, like always, show you guys what we can, and we'll catch you guys in a bit. So we got a good question that we get asked a lot by all our owners and other people, other hosts, and it was through Instagram today, so we just wanted to talk about it on camera. So the question is, hey, are there any other websites or platforms you recommend posting a basement unit for rent? Ignore the basement unit part. So what other platforms do we use to rent our short-term rentals or mid-term rentals even? So our answer is that we are only listed on Airbnb. We do have about 2 or 3 units on Vrbo, and we may grow on there as well. But as of right now, and for our last 4 years across our 60 units, this is what our strategy is. And the main reason for it really is insurance and liability. Especially as a business, you cannot undermine the importance of insurance, liability, accounting, any legal and finance. Don't take that risk. That's really our recommendations.
From an insurance perspective, 2 important pieces that's really needed for a short-term rental. So the first piece is damage insurance, which covers you in the rare cases when someone breaks your furniture, damages your wall, or in the worst case, breaks a window or causes any structural damage to the house. So that's the damage insurance piece. And then the second piece is liability insurance, which covers you for cases in which something happens to a guest while they're staying at your property. So as far as liability insurance goes, all 3 major platforms, so that's Airbnb, Vrbo, and Booking.com, they give you up to $1 million. I'm not sure if that's USD. I know Airbnb is USD. I'm not 100% sure if the other 2 are also in USD, but they all cover you for liability to a good extent. It's where, like, when it comes to damages, where the other 2 platforms, so Vrbo and Booking.com, they diverge from Airbnb. Airbnb is the only platform that provides hosts with damage protection up to $3 million USD in damages. So what that means is, like, a guest can technically cause a fire in your house. You lose everything, and Airbnb should help reimburse a big chunk of those damages. So that's a big reason why we always recommend our owners to only list on Airbnb. And for our personal properties as well, Airbnb is where 90% of our bookings come from. So moving on from insurance, another big reason why we like Airbnb as a platform is because it's very user friendly, both from a host perspective and from a guest perspective. There's only a limited number of boxes to fill out in terms of providing information about your property to the guests, whereas when you go and look at the interface for Vrbo and Booking.com, there's 1 million boxes, and I feel like Booking.com more so caters to the hotels and Vrbo caters more to the bigger homes. So there's a lot more customizations and options, and also a lot of the settings in those 2 platforms are hidden. They're not very easy to find, whereas in Airbnb, there's just 2 tabs. One is the listing editor, where you can put all the listing information. The other one's the arrival guide, which is what the guest sees on their end a day or 2 before check-in, your house manual, house rules, check-in instructions, all of that. So very straightforward. Nothing's really hidden. I guess the only hidden thing on Airbnb will be stuff like cleaning fees, extra guest fees, management fees. That's in the calendar. But yeah, it's very straightforward. And another reason is, the final reason I'd say, is the customer support. I know Tracy and I always go back and forth that the Airbnb like always like, takes the guest side, but when you go read on like other threads and forums, the guests are always complaining that, Airbnb is always taking the host side. So I truly think the right answer is it's somewhere in between. Like Airbnb is truly trying to mediate any issues between the guest and host and trying to be as objective as possible while protecting its own brand image. So whenever like issues happen, you can easily call Airbnb, cancel reservations if you're not comfortable with the booking, if the guest is breaking your house rules. It's very easy to involve Airbnb support in those cases, and 9 times out of 10 you can get someone on the phone within 5 minutes, and within 12 to 24 hours you can get your issue resolved. Whereas with these other platforms, like it can take forever for you to like get your issue resolved.
I'll say, so I said that was the last reason, but another reason why we only list on Airbnb is that we have the philosophy of just having focus on everything. Why some people list on so many different platforms is because they're just like, oh, Airbnb is not getting me enough bookings, so that's why I need to list on all these other platforms. But why we've stuck with Airbnb is that our occupancies are at, what is it, mid-80s?
Mid-80s to like low 90s even, depending if it's an urban city, of course.
Yeah.
If it's a vacation
we have to scratch
rental,
out vacation, like, true cottage country properties. But, in urban areas, our occupancy is around high 80s to mid 90s even. So it's really good. Yeah, sure, we could get that extra 5 to 15% of occupancy. But I think a lot of people underestimate the amount of work to get that extra money. Is that you're going to need a really strong channel manager, which we do have, but channel managers screw up sometimes, and that can be a really big issue if you end up double booking yourself. And you have to make sure your teams are trained on which platforms, adding that on all the onboarding. There's just a lot more work to do. All to say, extra work is fine as long as it's really accretive for what you're trying to do on the revenue side. But we've really not felt that it helps in those circumstances. Rather, our focus is just honing in on Airbnb. How do we maximize our visibility on the platform, get more bookings? And that's really where we feel like we've mastered. We know the policies really, really well on Airbnb. We're able to always monitor any updates, understand the impact to our business, our operations, and really hone in on the pricing side of things. And that's where I'd say us, but I mean Ahil, has mastered that pricing side of things. And because also different platforms, the pricing you have to adjust. Even when you have a a third-party pricing software, like for example, we use Price Labs. It's not just necessarily whatever you have for Airbnb is that you just push it out to Vrbo. There's still some small settings that you have to do, and again, you just have to make sure you're fully aware of all the different softwares, platforms that you're using. So if, for example, if we were listed across Vrbo, Booking.com, Google Vacation Homes, understanding 4 different companies' policies is a lot more work. And end of the day, we have to stay true to our clients who we manage their properties for, that we are the experts. Is that it's a really shitty response to ever tell a client like, oh shoot, I wasn't aware of this policy and that's why we didn't get a refund, or this is why the guest got a refund. Those situations still happen all the time, but at least it's kind of, we can really go on our context that, hey, we've done this hundreds of times and Airbnb's just not allowed it. We'll fight back, and we'll try everything we can, but have confidence in what you're doing. A lot of people like to talk about direct bookings, right? It's not just about other platforms, it's creating a direct booking website. So one is you need to make sure you have a TICO license, so TICO, I forget what the full name of it is, I'll insert it below.
I don't really know the specifics about it. I don't know how it really, so you can do direct bookings in 2 separate ways. The first way is, if you have a channel manager, they can help you create a website. I don't know if you need a TICO license in that instance when your channel manager is helping you create a website, but
I think
for sure if you're creating your own website, in that case 100% you need a TICO license. But I'm not sure if you can maybe piggyback off your channel manager's TICO license, just like you are for Airbnb or other travel agencies. for the direct bookings.
And then also, I always use the idea of like Airbnb is the biggest platform, right? There's a lot of people that are aware of it, and that's where their mind goes to when they're looking to book a place. So a direct booking website, how much traffic are you really driving into your business? Again, we go back to just focus, focus on Airbnb, iron out your
It really comes down to scale. I feel like a lot of people don't underestimate the amount of like efforts and costs that really go into building a direct bookings website. So if you only have 2 or 3 properties, it may not even be worth it. You're just better off paying a service fee to Verbo or Airbnb. But if you're at 10, 20 properties, then all the marketing costs, so running Google ads, building a website, paying someone to do SEO, like all
payment
that, processing, all these insurance, because you need to like Superhog or some other provider now.
Oh, right.
So all these things really add up, and it may not even be worth your like time and efforts if you're only at 2 or 3 properties.
So yeah, make sure you just check your own risk profile, understand all the responsibilities that come with one, and make sure you're making a responsible decision is all we have to say. And our responsible decision is Airbnb at the moment.
We just arrived, and here's the homeowner. She's a little scary cat, but she likes to supervise us. But yeah, we are in the basement part of the home, and this will probably take a lot more effort from our part to determine what's the best use for this space to attract the right guests. For example, over here is a very, very large rec room, empty space, and what's really cool though, and usually you don't see it all the time, is that there's 2 spacious bedrooms here as well. This bedroom can probably even fit 4 people, but it's just a matter of, do we really want to fit that many people? I think a lot of people will be like, oh, make this a huge rec room with all the toys, bells and whistles. And we jumped to that too, but the owner does want to be very delicate about, not making this a party house. So we'll give it some thought and we'll let you know. But right now we're gonna take some measurements, do our normal onboarding so we know the property really well. I'll hopefully show you some more things later. Okay, so here's the main floor and really the main part of the home. So there's a dining space, living room over here. And everything's completely newly renovated. And it's 3 bedrooms upstairs, 2 downstairs, and 2 bathrooms. One of the major reasons travelers will book an Airbnb over a traditional hotel is because of the kitchen. Guests want to feel like they're still at home when they're on vacation by being able to make home-cooked meals, and they also want to be able to save money. Especially if you're traveling with a big group, it's nearly impossible to eat every single meal outside. The best way to make guests feel like they are in their own home is to make sure that you have some few countertop appliances. So stuff like a toaster, a microwave, a kettle, and a coffee maker are essential and make a huge difference in their experience. You also want to have a few thoughtful extra consumables. Things just like cooking oil, salt and pepper, and sugar are our essentials in every single kitchen. We don't go too hard on all of the other spices just because it does become harder to maintain that inventory, and when you're not upkeeping that, it just doesn't look as thoughtful as you're intending to. In addition, you want to make sure that your dinnerware, drinkware, and silverware, you take the max number of guests that you can sleep in the home and you multiply it by 2. That will ensure that guests are not doing dishes after every single meal. At the end of the day, a thoughtfully stocked kitchen means better reviews, longer stays, and repeat guests. So if you're setting up your short-term rental, never cut corners around the kitchen. Your future bookings will thank you. just finished the site tour. We're just here for lunch.
This is our favorite part of any site visit.
Or how did you think the site visit went?
It went really well. Like going into the site visit, we're always a bit nervous, especially when the client has given us a bit of a harder time than
Were you
than
nervous? I
normal.
wasn't nervous.
A little, because like he was asking for lots of discounts, asking us to come down on the fees. He held off on.
He asked
like,
once. Oh wait, twice,
asked a
but he
few
was
times.
really reasonable.
He was very nice in person, very pleasant to talk to. Like didn't give us any red flags. I think I got a couple red flags while talking to him on the phone, but all our concerns were put to ease. He has a really nice property. They renovated the full home 2 years ago, so it's like a perfect setup for Airbnb. Recently renovated, all the plumbing and electrical was done, all the flooring is new. We just need to furnish a couple of bedrooms in the basement and upstairs, but the living room was really nice. The rec room needs to be furnished. Still lots of work, but the property overall has a lot of potential.
I think it was really pretty. So it's funny. I think my experience is really different. When they first reached out, I was already really excited. They asked a lot of questions, and I'm personally not against questions. I think they're good. It's just a matter of how pushy they are, and I didn't feel like they were pushy. They were just the type that I'm going to ask and try, and if I get it, great. If not, then we still want to work with you. So I was really excited about that, and they turned out to be what I really thought they were. But yeah, our food's just arriving. I'll catch you later.
So we're finally back home. It was a very quick site visit, and mind you, this owner was really talkative. It took us only an hour and a half, so 3 hours combined between the two of us. And now, yeah, we have some desk work to take care of. I'm doing a consulting call in an hour or so with someone who's looking to purchase property, who's looking to do rental arbitrage in the US. And then what are you up to?
I'm gonna hopefully finish up the email. So from the site visit today, put together the email because the owner is in a rush for it, and luckily our interests are aligned. We want to get it up ASAP. So fingers crossed I can focus and finish all tonight. But if not, latest tomorrow. I did tell him to give me till 2 days later, but always under promise, over deliver, you guys.
That's our mantra.
Yeah, but anyways, that's it for now. Tomorrow we'll also take you guys on a quick tour as well about our it's just a basement unit, so not like today where it was a big single detached home, but regardless, it's really cute. We already got a sneak peek to it. It's all furnished and ready to go. But otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Remember to leave a comment in the comment section below. I would like to know what you guys would really like to see in our future videos, or any questions you guys have about our experience in Airbnb arbitrage and just management in general. And remember to like this video. It'll really help us. And
hit the subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe button, please. But yeah,
Okay.
have a good
That's all
night,
for today.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.